It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back. I actually found this Reddit post on my own here, and I really think that you guys would like this because we actually get the opposite of the constant bitching and complaining, and I wish we had more posts like these within the DVD space. And it's titled, "I thought this game was favored toward killers until I played as a killer, and boy was I wrong." They said, "I just started playing this game and I kept on losing as survivor. Eventually I got so sick of it, I switched to killer to try it out. Right after I did that, I realized just how bad of a survivor I was. I started to see things other survivors did that I had no idea about, like techniques, strategies, etc. This really did humble me and I eventually went back to survivor main. I definitely did learn a lot." Now, can you imagine how many survivor mains can open their eyes, once they properly enter the other side with a level of actual brain power and logic? And that's what this individual actually did, and that's what I think is so important to mention, is that there are a few people in the DVD community that actually have some fucking brains, and they actually want to learn more about the side. They want to learn more about the game. They want to improve. And we've covered another survivor player or survivor main that actually had decided to play killer and is realizing the same stuff that we have talked about plenty of times in the past, which will be linked at the end screen, the end of this video. But I just want to mention, like, that's a great video. We obviously have another post that is also, I'm glad to see that we have people that are at least willing to do that. And notice the amount of upvotes as well, being about 357. So a lot of people are agreeing with this from what we understand. So the first response says, "This is what everyone should do before forming an opinion. Well done, genuinely." And then this person says, "Not me. I'll continue to play only play one side, and since I am the best player ever, if I lose for any reason, clearly the game is unbalanced. Any other side should be nerfed. Slash S if it isn't obvious." Yeah. I mean, I'm like, that's essentially what makes it so funny about it, is like, that's what people genuinely do, right? Obviously, this person isn't actually doing this, what we like to call sarcasm, satire, if you will, a joke. I know a lot of people may miss that. Unfortunately, we gotta make sure we have the fun the fun police on hand, you know what I mean, because they gotta get ready to cuff up the misconception. But this person says, "When you first start out, you'll get mauled pretty hard on both sides. The top of the game leans survivor. In most public matches, it leans killer. Obviously, it can swing massively depending on the killer, the map, and everyone's build." Which, yes, unfortunately, at the highest level, it leans towards survivor in every way possible. I mean, we've seen this with tournaments. We've seen this even in high MMR. Like, it just constantly leans toward survivor. It just does. I mean, and this is 5 months ago that they're saying. So let's go ahead and continue. So it says, "Until you get to the absolute top comp level, which 99.9% of people are not at, including high elo players, this game is sided toward whichever decides they want to win in the lobby and selects their options appropriately." I disagree to a certain extent, because, well, obviously we have we're 5 months ahead of this post, right? So we already understand that the game has continued to favor survivor, overbuff them. So currently now it's like pretty obvious. Like, with every update that's come, it's given survivors the greatest chance of winning they possibly could have. And now the thing is, you can't put in base kit for bad play in that sense. If you're ass at the game, no base kit change is going to change that. You're just going to be ass, like, at the end of the day. So that in itself doesn't mean it favors anything. If at least when I'm saying that it's survivor sided, that means that you have the highest chance of winning because of how many things that are benefiting you at the same time, right? But I'm not saying you're gonna like auto win every match, but I am saying, like, you have the greatest probability of winning than the other does. And that's just how it is. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and continue. So this person says, one interesting thing that I don't think many killer players actually are that good at going all out. Terms like tunneling and slugging get thrown around a lot as optimal strategies, but the reality is that those are optimal in a baseline sense. Just tunneling is the equivalent to a swift just calling your position and splitting gens efficiently. There is a lot more nuance to playing killer optimally that you can see clearly in comp games, which most people never really learn because they tend to not try and win their games efficiently. I think that as a community, there's so much negativity associated with playing the game well that many people genuinely never learn to. The concepts I'm talking about here are things like catching rotations, tracking survivors, and converting to another target on mobility/dash killers, properly zoning and playing a generator speed, securing hook stages and denying trades while still having map presence, and knowing how to pivot from a failed tunnel out / being able to predict when a death hook player will be. And I 100% agree with that. I can say with confidence that I was able to reach a certain level using one of the weakest killers in the game to win very consistently. Like, my win rate was way higher than I really thought, and I realized that the negativity bias that I was having had made me think I was losing way more than I was. And also the exhaustion of winning as efficiently as I was with the weakest killer in the game, it was very draining and very exhausting, and I just was not going to continue to do that for very long. And that's why I've long retired Ghostface, and that's why I've long retired my mains as well, because they're just not going to hold up in this current day and age where everything is just kind of being spoon-fed for the survivor side. So that's just where it is, I would say, when it comes down to it. But I would even say, like, I've had, shout out to Shrouded Ghostface, who had even suggested, like, I should try comp, which I had adamantly disagreed, because I was not interested in trying to dive that deep into the game as a whole. But I would say I was at the level of a comp player, and comparatively, because I played very similarly to Shrouded. I learned a lot from him specifically. And I do think that, I think he's probably long retired, I think, this game, or at least long retired Ghostface. And I think he only mentioned he would return if the Ghostface was reworked or buffed. So it will really be a while until we see bro return, most likely. And we all, I'm pretty sure we all wish the best for him. This person says, I mean, the simple fact is, if you aren't playing Blight or Nurse, you aren't going all out, which means the vast majority of killer matches are against killers who are technically holding back. And this is not to mention the things you talk about, like tunneling. Survivors are more often, in my experience, bringing more meta stuff, because unlike killer survivors, are just skins who can use whatever, and a lot of the time the best is what they choose. But I feel like Michael Myers, or a big fan of being a cowboy, I had to take a power hit. This is not to mention the best survivor first is generally not as taboo as the best killers, as many survivors damn near consider them quality of life. For instance, anti-tunnel perks, which we already understand those are purely skill issues, yada yada yada. It is what it is, you know what I mean? Now this person does have an interesting point, because they say you're not going to kill a good Swift as Slinger or Trapper, no matter how dirty you play. They're just too slow to compete with 3-minute gens, and Discord destroying all macro gameplay and perks, which we can say that's what makes it so impressive when Quiet Kills does it, because he's using one of the weakest killers in the game and is able to be consistent. And obviously it may not be like a Swift every single time, but it still has a level of impressiveness due to that fact. So it still is a thing. So let's see. This person says, the first game as a killer is always going to suck. You don't know how to play as a killer until you spend hours learning. Same goes for Survivor. And then this person says, after 9 years of playing, I can confirm it's still Survivor-sided, which it is. It is, unfortunately. With the removal of a lot of mechanics for killers and stuff like that, whether it be hook grabbing, hatch grabs, the lagginess that they've had for gen grabs, the nerfs have come to killers at this point that probably didn't really need it, in my opinion. Also, just the buffs to survivor perks, the base kit options, and things like that. Definitely just not great. It's not great. It goes without saying. So this person says, killer's a lot easier to pick up than survivor, though. What? No, that's incorrect. At least just judging by the killer anxiety epidemic, I would kind of disagree with that, because killer anxiety wouldn't even be a topic if this was common for everyone. So what you should have said was killer for me is a lot easier to pick up, or rather, in my opinion, I felt that killer was a lot easier to pick up than survivor. You know what I mean? Like, because honestly, they say racing an invisible clock is a lot less stressful than someone marching up to kill you. What? Isn't having a timer by proxy offer anxiety and stress? Like, I don't think, like, you seeing somebody walking up to you and with whatever span of time they have, like, they don't even need to worry about how long it takes when they have to go to you. So, no? They say on top of that, every killer game you get to play from beginning to end of the match. What's to say that you can't do that on Survivor? I mean, rats do it all the time. They just hide in the bushes all day. And to be fair, that's also not true, because the 5-minute matches of the 5-minute matches against survivors would like to speak with you. They say even if survivors fly through gens, you play till the end. What? What is your definition of play? Like just pressing your keys on the keyboard? Because I don't think that, because you're not really playing anything. If you're walking somewhere as a killer and then you hear 4 dings go off, 5 dings go off, and then you hear a horn, did you really play? Or did you sightsee? Because those are 2 different things. They say when you're new to Survivor, especially if a killer tunnels you out, the game can be over for you incredibly fast. Yet, are we forgetting that that sort of comes to the territory? Like, as a survivor, you have to expect to die. That's why they're called survivors. But, you know, because how fucked this game has become, the survivors now think that they aren't supposed to die at some point. It's literally the motto of the fucking game. Doesn't it literally say death is not an escape? Like, what? Okay. This person says hard disagree about the stress level. I'm always stressed as F about being the killer, and when I'm a survivor, I'm chill AF. I'm a killer. I'm a masochist, I guess. So, this person is kind of like says that killers chill because I only have myself, and it's my own skill issue to blame. So that's like the exact opposite of what people are talking about and experiencing. So I mean, like, that's an outlier. Most people feel the pressure because it's themselves. They don't have anything to rely on. So yeah, it's not great. So this person says, see, I was the opposite. I thought it was favored towards killer as someone who always plays solo queue survivor. Then I played killer for a while, got better over time, and realized it was indeed slightly killer sided. No, it's actually survivor sided, but that's besides the point. They say, I think the most accepted order is Swift, killer, solo queue, where the game's balance is at. I don't really believe that solo queue is really that bad. I mean, solo queue is where the game is sort of should be, because like comms is what destroys the game's balance. So when you decide to solo queue, that's sort of what they're intended to do. Now, obviously, they have the the teaming up thing, so of course that's like, you know, in the game, so therefore it makes, you know, you can use it, yada yada yada. But at least from the game's inception, I don't even think they had that as an option until they added it later. But yeah, they don't really balance the game around the Swift. They balance the game around, I think, the solo, and that's kind of why we're getting like really bad sort of like perks and things, because they're really making, like, the way that they're balancing it, they're trying to make survivors like these Swift's army knives, and that's what ends up like leading to these crazy perks that work just by themselves. And I don't really understand why we're not trying to lean towards a more team focus and then making the killers by themselves stronger. So I don't know. So this person says, definitely disagree. As a killer, you have to take one survivor out of the game fairly early on, at least before 4 gens are done. If you don't, you're gonna have a bad time. Yeah, that is 100% true. This person said 4 gens being done is not fairly early on, which that's not what bro said. He said at least before 4. Bro said after 4. So people just don't know how to read, I guess. So they say, I said at least before 4 gens are done. The first 1 to 3 usually fly off the shelf. I've been playing the game since it launched. The gen speed is tough to deal with, especially as a non-mobility oriented killer, which is why I play more Survivor, because it's ironically very chill. And then instead of acknowledging, hey, I don't have any reading comprehension and I'm a moron, they say, and I didn't say anything differently. I'm like, you literally said 4 gens being done. He said before the 4 gens are done. Are you stupid or just like dumb as hell? Like dog, like what are you doing, bro? It's like, bro, like it's like, what is it with the DVD community, man? Like mindless. Like, bro, if you're wrong, you're wrong. Just accept it. Like, it's like, hey, you misread it. You go, hey, my bad. I didn't read it correctly. Blah blah blah. Like, come on. So I'm not gonna. There's no point in reading the rest because you're already going in with an idiotic mindset. Like it's stupid. So anyway, they say, not my experience whatsoever, but on you forgetting your own kind of perspective. I've never played killer for like a year when first playing DVD, many years. Then decided to do so. My first 9 or so games were piss easy. Then I had 1 game that was impossible. So notice, I want to point this out. This is why we see Survivor mains constantly saying like, oh my god, my games are so easy. Because look, my first 9 or so games were piss easy. Then I had 1 that was hard. They lose. Then 5 again that were easy. Then 2 that were impossible. Then 5 that were easy. Then 2. That's called the MMR. It's literally like, it's called MMR. But notice that instead of acknowledging that MMR exists, they're gonna say, oh, but killer's easy. So how exactly is killer easy? No explanation. They said I did this about a year ago. So notice they've only played what, 10, like what, let's say 30 games or something like that. 30 games compared to how many people that have played for hundreds of hours that go, yeah, this is ass. Like, I don't like this. So they said I eventually came to the conclusion that survivors either have enough coordination and it's a loss, or they don't and it's really easy. Both examples are not fun, and I decided I just hate playing as killer and don't find it interesting whatsoever anymore. Now my thing is, do you not find it interesting because it's not free wins every single game, or do you not find it interesting because you like to turn your brain off and fill a bar all day? Because if you're saying that, at least from my perspective, if you're saying killer's not interesting and we already know survivor's boring, then why are we playing the game, right? That's the main question after a lot of people. Why play this game? Survivor has nothing interesting on it. Like, you fill a bar most of the game. The games are 5 minutes long because of that. Why? So I don't know. So who knows? So here comes the Survivor main coming up with some bullshit. Get ready for this one. We knew we were finding it at some point, and we're gonna have to start playing bingo with this type of shit. It really adds a lot of sauce if we can get that going. And it says here, the game is indeed favored towards killers and by design. The targeted balance baseline a 60% kill rate. The highest win streak ever recorded is 1974 wins in a row by Blight. Closest win streak is 200, and that's Com Swift. It's like, buddy, that's not, like, none of this is a point. How about, oh, but the win streak, but the win streak, like, okay, but they're trying to go for 60. Okay, but so where's the data showing that it's reaching 60% for every single killer in the game at all times, right? Like, why are we not getting a consistent 60 or 70 or even higher than that? But why is it when people submit their data on Nightlight, we only get 50 below? That's strange. Why is it that only one single player has been recorded to have a win streak on Blight, but yet people forget to mention it's a comp player with 10k plus hours playing that character as well, who has like more knowledge and experience than everybody who's crying about the streak. And I'm pretty sure that this, like, obviously this was 5 months ago, so this streak is now outdated. I'm pretty sure they've reached a much higher win streak nowadays. But streaks are not a metric for balance, because streaks are outliers. Like, they're not something that you just can do every single game. Like, not every single person can just streak forever. Like, that just doesn't happen. So that can't be used as a metric anyway. Like, that doesn't make any freaking sense. But regardless, I want to know what you guys think. Check out my main channel and my rivals channel. That's linked at the end screen. It's also linked in the description, so you can check those out. And give those a sub, man. We want to get out of the DVD slop space so we can actually make some passionate, you know, well thought out content for you guys. And if you want to support me directly, you can become a member on this channel. You can become a member on the Patreon, or even subbing on Twitch to help as well. Really appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, we're gonna shout out all the members. So shout out Patreon Crow Vader. So we have Evil Blade 17, Lord Whip with an F there, and then 6540. We have Razmakai, Cozy with Brando, Cap Courteous as well. We got Kargan Falcon, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Christian, and Crow Vader. Appreciate you guys, man. And if you want your name read off at the end of every video, of course, consider becoming a member on this channel. You know, it could be the badge or I'm a member now tier. Either one works, and you get exclusive perks and content. So check it out, man. Appreciate you guys, man. It means a lot. We'll see you guys in the next one, man.